Oh, podría hacer eso, ¿eh? Ya, ok. Yeah, that was it. Okay, so I guess we have chat now. Let's see where it is. Subscribers. Save. Okay, and the chat is here. Here we go. Hello. Cool. Okay, we have 4 viewers. That's not a record. It's July record. Okay, let's wait 6 more minutes and then we will start. Hi, BJ. I will do and start a short introduction, some quick updates, and then we can go with the questions. Now this video, this is yeah, okay, perfect. So yeah, I didn't manage to get to my home. So last stream was at my home. This one is on a Burger King. It's the closest place I found with a good internet connection. So yeah, let's do a 10 minutes quick update on what we did this month and since last streaming and what's planned for the next week, which is end of July, and then what's coming over in phase 2, which is a question that arose today at Twitter, and I think it's worth commenting what we have on the roadmap. So our product development was separated into 3 parts. The first one was to understand and obviously try to extract information from the blockchain. This is the piece that I way underestimated and the difficult. And obviously, I was very ambitious when we started, and that is what caused the delay because as soon as we started extracting data, we found a lot of problems and a lot of stuff that we didn't imagine with our eyes. It took us some time to get that data out, and we finally get it. And that enabled us to start building whatever is deployed right now, which is all these workers and pieces that are mapping the exchanges, the trades, creating the updated price information on the databases, generating the liquidity pool entries onto the database, and will obviously allow us to generate the charts, which is the last step in our climb to a complete version. And by having all this information, we will be able to generate the notifications and the alerts, which is the last part of the development that's pending. We already have some of these assembled and ready into production, and is what we are using to feed the Telegram bot that's being used by Wex Poly. The one on the BSC is disabled because the way they work is different. So I decided to not maintain the BSC worker until the BSC extractor was ready. And once it's verified and validated, we will do the same approach for both Polygon, BSC, and every other network that we will include. The trades worker is already running. We already mapped over 2 million, 3 million transactions into the database with pricing USD per block, and the information is updated in real time. So I'm connecting the WebSockets to the charts, and I'm also building this average weighted average for the candles, so we can have real and accurate data, not just from a couple exchanges like Pancake or Wall, which is what everyone else is mapping, but we are also mapping MDEX, Panther Swap, Baby Swap, Ape Swap, like any other exchange that has a pool that is a clone of Pancake will be automatically mapped. And actually today in a discussion in the Spanish channel, we found that we have a token that is Nerve that also has their own pools, and we are already mapping them. So the idea is that we shouldn't be tied to the most popular exchanges, but to any other exchange, and that will allow us to generate arbitrage opportunities for the users, but also will allow you to trade in the exchanges that are cheaper and to discover tokens that might not be listed first on the biggest exchanges. So it's a very good opportunity for everyone to try to get the best opportunities to get the tokens either on their launch or on their bottoms and get revenue while doing trades with certain advantage. With all this information map and all these workers running, this also allows us to generate global notifications for new pairs added to the database, for new tokens added to the database, but also for new trades happening in the Binance Smart Chain or on any other blockchain that we enable. And those same workers can also be customized per user to generate custom notifications. So in case you have tokens in your wallet that are being traded or are, like we always announce, being rug pulled or liquidity is being withdrawn for them, or the price change or the volume is rising too much in 24 hours, you'll get a notification for your wallets and for your addresses. So it's a good opportunity for us to build aggregated functionality and to aggregate value to the knowledge we already have around the blockchain. This is what we achieved so far. This is what is prepared for next week, which is the charts and the notifications. And then the question is, what's next? What are we going to build next? Because our vision is not just being a DEX tool with charts. That's what everyone else is doing. And remember that our vision is way bigger. We are here for the big picture, and we are here for the long term. So what we are building is a blockchain analytics tool, and part of that, and obviously part of the blockchain is the community. So for the phase 2, the challenge is how we can allow everyone in the community to decentralize the knowledge into their own site and be part of the content creation of the platform. This means that we won't be sponsoring tokens, we won't be invoicing projects or getting money from projects to be listed in our site. We will list them automatically, but it's going to be on the on each one of you to aggregate the data and to extend information on those projects and to incorporate information about the fundamentals, which is what is going to make those projects valuable on the long term. So it's not just about saying, hey, this token is good, check this huge banner that we placed because we were paid for it. It's about check how this project is generating engagement in our community, and check how the fundamentals are being filled with the company wallets, with the vesting calendars, with the token burn address, with the amount of tokens circulating, their website, everything that aggregates data to our database, which is also going to be rewarded for you. That's the Explorers program that Doruk will announce soon, and it's what will empower you to start gathering information from the projects in which you participate or the projects in which you are involved, and to incorporate that data into our database so other projects and other users benefit from that information. So this phase 2 is all about interacting with the information in our database and enriching it so we all can benefit from that knowledge. So in case a project is good, we will get a lot of votes and we will get a lot of information from it. And in case a project is dubious and the people behind them might not be as transparent as they should, or the information is not there for the customers and it's just a token that seems to be there for a future rug pull, you'll also get the community noticing that and flagging that token into our database. So you will see a lot of new badges showing up on the site, and you will see a lot of new options to aggregate information, extend information, or to provide more data around those projects. Like, for example, if we are missing a pool or we need the source code for those projects to be able to extract information that you want to know, like the API or pending rewards or airdrops, you will have all these options into the platform. So it's all about making you part of the database and the knowledge and rewarding you with EULers. Or if the projects decide to build bounty bags or information bags into our site, we will also provide you with this functionality so you can get access to those tokens that might be there for you. And then at the same time, we built this stuff, which is pretty much interacting with our database, and it's already built on our backend, and it's just enabled some features on the front end, like forms. We will start working towards creating a tool that allows you to interact with the blockchain. We are not aiming to create our own smart contracts, or at least not to be based on smart contracts, but what we want is to create interfaces for you to interact with those contracts. So, for example, if you want to perform swaps, you might want to know which is the most accurate price, and you might want to have an interface inside of Euler to interact with those contracts. The same if you want to stake or unstake, or the same if you want to farm liquidity or claim airdrops. So as the blockchain is just a giant API, and we just need the SDK, which is the contract AV, that is a set of instructions generated by the contract when it's deployed, to interact with it. We should be able to create automation around it, like what BSC scan does, in which you have forms to write on the contracts, which is pretty much what is the core functionality of stuff like sniper bots or trading interfaces. So we will want to extend the functionality that the blockchain provides per se with our information and with our knowledge. So the next time you will want to swap a token, you don't get a weird message saying that the token might not be verified, because it will have already been verified by our users and by you and the community. So that's the idea behind what's next after July. It's probably August, September, and October, which is the third quarter, because as we push the notifications into July, which were planned for the next quarter, we are kind of with a lot of bandwidth to tackle this kind of stuff. And then we have another part of the project, which is obviously an obvious question, which is about the marketing. As you know, we haven't been pumping a lot. The price kind of dropped and then become stable for at least 4 weeks. And that's because we didn't want to burn our ships. We didn't want to invest money in marketing in a market that was pretty unstable, uncertain, and with a lot of thought going on Twitter, with everyone saying that Bitcoin will drop, that bear market has started. So we decided that investing money and trying to get our project out there to be part of these fake pumps that are unsustainable and are not validated with liquidity isn't very sustainable for us, because for every investor that we manage to get into profits, we will get another one that's going to be underwater again. So it's not worth to create this kind of projects, because it's not sustainable in time, and we are here for the long term. So we want you all to recover your investments. We want you all to feel safe and to feel comfortable holding EULers, because you will get the tools that you've paid for. But we want to do it for the long term. This is not a token that should die in the next bear market. This is a token that should be sustainable, because it's what fuels our platform and what fuels your subscriptions. So we are aiming with the marketing to start the campaign as soon as the market is recovered and the platform is ready to start holding information from the projects. And the way we want to market this is by allowing projects to manage their own projects into our platform and to get paid for it. So we will probably receive stuff like cake or bunnies into our accounts, and we will turn that into EULers later, so we can reward the community that's sustaining that growth. And instead of trying to just shield our token with people that has 1 million bots following them on Twitter, like we got some offers around that, we want to create a project that's really going into the long term. That's in terms of marketing what's pretty much going on. And sorry. And in the next 3 months, we also want to get institutional investment, either through partnerships, either through funds, either through grants from the Ethereum Foundation. Whoever is out there wanting to invest in a solid company and a solid project that's around analytics, we are reaching to them. We are building pitch decks, we are building investor decks, we are building NDAs and agreements to get them on board to see the value that we can provide, because it's something that they demand. If you check the last Binance, for example, the last Binance venture capital contest is for analytics tools. They want to know what's going on the Binance Smart Chain because the data right now is too hard to get. No one is building on top of the Binance Smart Chain analytics tools. Yes, we have DEX tools, we have BSC scan, we have other projects that are extracting information, but no one is generating the infrastructure to analyze it. So how do you know what are the top holders into a token? You have to go to BSC scan. And how are they generating the data? Is that data something I can query? Can I build my own queries on top of that data? And that's not really happening. Like they have APIs that are limited, and you don't know where is the information coming from. Some tokens has prices, others doesn't. Some tokens has icons, others doesn't. You can flag stuff in there to be removed, or at least so people know it's fake. So navigating BSC scan is pretty much a sniper job, and you have to really know what you are looking for to find it. And we want to get rid of that idea. We want to allow people to search for stuff based on their criteria, not on their knowledge. So if you want to look for a pool that has 2 specific tokens with more than $1 million liquidity, you should be able to search for that. You shouldn't be knowing the address, because there's millions of addresses. It's impossible to know all of them. And it's impossible to read the information in there, because you have hundreds of transactions. You don't know if it is a sell, a deposit, a withdrawn. You have to read every log to see what's going on. So yeah, we're working towards that, to get this kind of stuff in place for you to be able to search for it. And yeah, I think that's pretty much covers our current status. In terms of finances, which is something that I'm sure you will want to know, because we still hold tokens for the company. We reduce our costs to like less than $50,000 per month, more or less, including infrastructure, development, marketing, etc. So it's around $50,000 to $20,000. And I am trying to do not sell any token. So I've used all my savings to fund the previous operations, and I am conducting private sales of the tokens, so I do not have to go sell those tokens into the pool. And those sales are for has a small discount, but also has a vesting period. So the idea is that people might be able to invest in Euler heavily with a vesting period. So we know for sure that they won't be selling those tokens at a discount immediately. And that allows us to do not have to sell those tokens into the pool. So it's not adding extra pressure for no reason into the price. And that's what pretty much keeps us stable. As usual, I'm going to be fully transparent. I let you know how much am I selling, when, and why. And if you check the transactions from the company wallet, you'll see that in the last month, we transferred a few tokens to different collaborators. Some of them hold the tokens, so it's not that they are selling, but it's just salaries and small movements. And the rest of the movements are related with us testing the subscriptions service. So it's pretty much movements between our own wallets to test if someone can subscribe. So it's not sales directly to the pools, and it's not affecting the tokens. In terms of liquidity and pools and where is Euler available, we have all these problems still with Pancake V1, and they are also making it harder to buy in Pancake V1 because the interface is now forcing you to do not use Pancake V1. So Wall Swap is our only reliable way to buy Euler without heavy difficult. So you'll have to rely on them until we can withdraw that liquidity, and we can split it between Gold and Pancake V2. in case Pancake is still trending and it's still worth the shot. Because as I say, there's other exchanges that has more liquidity than Pancake, weirdly, and they might offer better trades for us and obviously better promotion, because Pancake is kind of very hard to reach. Like, we tried so hard to get into their white list, and you have to pay a lot of money. And we tried to reach to their team to offer them partnerships and information, and they didn't even answer. So it's kind of probably an endogamic team, and they are not looking forward to this kind of agreements. But there are other exchanges that has good liquidity, good volume, and might be able to collaborate with us in terms of promotion, and not just in Binance Smart Chain. We have Heco Chain or Polygon that wants to collaborate with us, so we'll investigate and explore those opportunities too. And I think that's all. I'm gonna read some of the questions that I see that you already have. Let's start with Courts Beast that says, what are the chances to back Euler with Bitcoin? Well, I don't really know how to do that, but I'm sure it's possible. Our token is very flexible. We aren't tied to anything else but the Binance Smart Chain. So in case we needed to turn our token into something else, we can always conduct a migration like what Wall did, or we can always try to get something like a stable value and then turn it into a stable coin or related with a Bitcoin pair. I don't really know, because we haven't explored that idea yet, but it's definitely a good question on what's next for the token. Like, the token is definitely an utility, and it's going to be used to access to the platform. So what's going to happen when the token reaches certain level of demand, and how are we going to respond to that, to the lack of supply? Because, for example, holders need to have 4K or 14K tokens into their bags to access to the platform and to access to the different benefits. So at some point, there's not going to be enough tokens in the market to sustain this growth. So 100 users holding 4K tokens, which is already happening, is 4 million tokens. Sorry, 400,000 tokens. So that's a lot of money already, and we need to figure out how do we sustain 1,000 users or 10,000 users, which is obviously out of our current supply. So yeah, we need to find ways to make our token more reusable, and we will investigate that when we reach that point, hopefully soon. Good question. Sanjeev, how different are we from Parsec? Well, Parsec is a event-based company. They do not analyze data. They always rely on third party, and at least on their core product, which is the notifications, they are very limited to what they've built. Like, you need to go through their interface to consume the information and to get notified, and you have to hard code your wallet information, and the data they receive is provided by third party, like for example, the risk assessments. So what differentiates us from Parsec is that we own our own data. They have their own nodes probably, but we have our own databases, and we have our own information extracted from the blockchain. So for us, building a notification is not just knowing the address and setting a criteria, is also telling you that that address exists and that criteria exists. So the difference with Parsec is that we will tell you what you should be looking for. That's what we try to build. We are competing with them in terms of core concept, but we are interoperable. Like, if you wanna get notified in Parsec about the stuff, or you wanna get Parsec to notify you at Euler, we already set up that. As part of our partnership, we work together into the initial design of the architecture, and we created hooks, web hooks, or endpoints, in which you can just send the notifications that Parsec generates in case we aren't ready yet. And at some point, I hope we are mature enough to provide them with the data and with the events they need to generate their notifications. So even though we are on the same market, we have different targets. I guess that's what differentiates us from Parsec. It's the same with BSC Scan or Dex Tools or Dex Guru. Like it's the same market, but it's different target. We aren't just building charts, and we aren't just building a wallet tracker, or we aren't just building a blockchain exploration tool. We are building everything. So our target is people that wants to know everything at once, not people that is looking for super specific solutions. So that our different what differentiates us is our vision. I think that should be the answer. Does Euler have the capacity to capture revenue by becoming a data provider for blockchain oracles, whether it's on-chain data or from other sources? That's our aim. We are a meta oracle. That's something that no one else is doing right now. If you check the feed prices from Chainlink, for example, and I talk with their developers when I interview with them for a position, and I ask them how their data feeds work, and they are just reading the APIs from multiple exchanges, not them, but the people providing those data feeds, and aggregating the data, performing a weighted average, and exposing an endpoint that responds with the price. That's quotes all they do. It's a lot, but it's all they do. We aggregate the data not just from the SECs or the centralized exchanges, but also from the decentralized exchanges. And we merge all this data into a single stream that we generate for the trades, and we expose those APIs to be consumed either by on-chain providers or by off-chain providers. So, for example, let's dream big. Let's say Binance wants to build their own trading interface, so you can swap tokens into the Binance Smart Chain without having to leave Binance interface. As you know, in Binance, you can perform trades, which is orders, or you can perform swaps in their own liquidity pools, which are based on their hot wallet probably. But the idea is that Binance should be able to interact with their own blockchain without having to leave Binance. So how do they get the data from the different pools into Binance? It's through us. They will ping us, and we will expose them APIs, and we will be able to become Binance providers for data. So that's pretty much the difference between oracles and us. We are a meta oracle. We are on top of the oracles, and we provide the oracles the information they need to respond to the queries with the accurate information. That's actually a concept that is set up in an abstract on a paper that we started with when the project was starting with some collaborators. We got some PhD doctors to work with us, and they designed this weird idea of crypto tagging, in which by using machine learning and deep learning, we should be able to read the transactions and read the addresses and detect patterns, and being able to tag a wallet as if it was, for example, a bot or a hot wallet, stuff like that, automatically. So part of our vision related with the oracles is to generate all this information and provide it to the oracles, either on-chain or off-chain, to be consumed. So yeah, the oracle part is fairly ambitious, and being honest, is not planned until the end of the year. It's fourth quarter in the most optimistic, or probably December, January, if we don't manage to deliver all the content we plan ahead of that. Could it be possible to develop like an order of pool APIs of the entire Binance Smart Chain? I mean, a search who can log into AutoFarm, Biffy, etc., and list all pools for an example cake. That's a super good question, and that's a super hard task. As you know, the blockchain does not provide raw information. It provides encrypted information. So once the contract is deployed for a farm, what you will get is a bunch of bytecode that you won't be able to decipher unless you know what you are looking for. So even though you can get the name of the functions, for example, you shouldn't be able to get the Kirk signature that allows you to know how to call those functions. So if people does not use the same code, it's pretty much impossible for us to know what's going on inside of the contract. there's ways to get that code. The easiest one is to just go to their repositories and read it. But it's a lot of work. That also involves reading the source code, extracting the information, generating the API, so you can interact with those functions and then calculate the API. That's something that we can't really do right now because we do not have enough resources for that, and there's hundreds of pools and hundreds of farms out there. But I've been talking with a Russian team of developers that has something similar to what 0x Tracker provided, but it's more technical. From a technical perspective, it's way more complex because what they did is they created a framework in which you just input addresses and they extract all the information based on knowledge on how those farms work. So yeah, it should be possible to do that. Not for us, but I am in conversations with those guys from Russia to see if we can combine both projects because they are on an early stage and they need infrastructure and funding. And we are in a more mature state in which we have the infrastructure and some funding, but we do not have the resources to build all that stuff. And if we manage to do so, I will announce it and we will incorporate that information into our APIs, which is going to look great because they have a lot of data, and not just for Binance. They have Polygon, they have HecoChain, they have Optimism. So it's super powerful. It's a very nice application, and they aggregate a lot of data. Also, they also have ways to calculate stuff like impermanent loss by querying the database that we have. So they were very excited when they know that we have it. I'll keep you posted and I'll let you know what is the output of those conversations. Can you simply particularly elaborate the top 5 addresses so to clear any doubts and stay transparent to all the new users coming in who might not have time to research into it? Yes, actually, that's a very good suggestion, and I'll do it. We have a liquidity, it's a tokenomics widget on the Euler page, but by some reason I didn't link the addresses in which the tokens are held, but I will update the front end so you can check those addresses straight from the widget without having to ask for them. Nice question and nice suggestion. Yes, there's only one address, just so you know. There's only one company wallet address that holds all the tokens, and it's I already shared it sometime on the channel, but I will make sure it's clearly stated on the website too, so you know how are our finances and where are our tokens. It says, what do you think about making a Kinda free for institutions who maybe want to invest in one financial portfolio? Maybe Euler with APIs could develop good and stable portfolio. Yeah, this is with Python checking the volatility and is used on broker, for example, but does not have FA. Well, I never investigated that concept, but if you want to reach to me through Telegram and explain me the idea, we can definitely research about it, because I heard some conversations happening on Twitter for people telling that if DeFi fails, they will have to go into a stock trading, and they are not familiar with the tools they use. So maybe if we import those tools into DeFi, we should be able to teach people on how to move into stocks in case the whole stuff crashes. Let's see. So you are already having conversations on the chat, so I'm having problems following you. Does the copy trading allow users to put in extra super hard? Okay, copy trading. Remember that in phase 1, copy trading is just to get notifications about what you are following. So, for example, if you want to follow trades from known addresses or from known bots, you will get notifications from them. And it is in phase 2 that we will start to interact with the blockchain. In that phase, we don't really know how it's going to work, copy trading, because it's not always work, like if just because a bot works every other transaction doesn't mean it's going to work for the next one. And we don't want to provide a functionality that just allows you to put tokens on a contract and being robbed by a bot that is designed to rob you out. So copy trading is something that we need to investigate, because what I learned is that what works better is from running tokens when they are launched. And to do that, what you need is information and be able to place the order before anyone else, or to perform the swap as soon as the liquidity is deposited. which is something that we are definitely tracking because we are tracking the blockchain events in real time. So if you want to create a contract that is able to front run that liquidity, we should be able to do that with our current technology and with some blockchain interaction tools. So let's work together to build these tools, which is the ones that allows you to get money from the DeFi, right? Finally, like the way swaps work is you are buying cheap, selling expensive. So let's work towards being able to allow you to do that in the future. Phase two, as I said, interacting with the blockchain is phase two, because right now we do not know, not that we do not know, but we need to know what's going on in there before being able to interact with it in a safe way. How do you differentiate yourself? What is your competency of fellow project, other existing data analytics, and which project do you see as your competitor? How will you compete and succeed? We have a lot of competitors because we are competing on all areas. That's something that we shared with every other people questioning the same thing. And our major advantage is that we are competing with all of them. That we are not a niche solution competing just with DEX tools or with ABOR or with BSC scan. We are competing with all of them. So for DEX tools, apart from the DEX tools, we provide the BSC scans and the ABOR functionality. And for BSC scan, we provide the ABOR and the DEX tools functionality. So we are trying to compete with all of them at the same time by aggregating all the value they generated into a single platform and into a single user experience. We might not be that far from that, but that's our aim. I know the interface still needs work, the data still needs work. I know all of that stuff is still on development, and we are on an early stage, and we have plenty of time to build this stuff. And we are competing with all of them by solving one problem at a time, right? We can't really build a full vertical solution by ignoring the rest of the data and the rest of the stuff happening on the platform. So we need to make sure that we know everything about the other verticals. So we can't really tell you if a trade is going to be profitable for you if we do not know how other trades were for other users on the same pool. And we do not know how to notify you about a rug pull if we do not know how other rug pulls look for. So in order to make sure that we have a really competitive advantage, we first need to build everything every other project build and make it interact with each other. So that's our biggest challenge, but it's also our bigger advantage. It's that we are building all this stuff and we know how to build it already, and we already have some of these things going on. So we know for sure it's validated and it's working. It's time now to assemble all the pieces and set up the full platform that we envisioned 5 months ago already. What do you consider as your major competitor? Okay, I already answered that. Will subscription patterns change over time depending on market requirements? Yes, with Doruk, we are always discussing what is the best subscription design or how to build proper subscription plans with enough features in there that are worth paying for them. With all the market dumping, our idea of having 4K EULers as opposite of paying $100 just become unsustainable because 4K EULers was way less money than $100. So it's obviously better to hold EULers than to pay a subscription, but holding EULers does not provide you enough benefit. So how do we make all these pieces interact is something that we are reviewing, and we already changed a bit or slightly our subscription model, and we will keep reviewing it over time to accommodate the changes on the amount of users, on the infrastructure costs, on the demand, and obviously on the functionalities we incorporate. It's not the same having custom sniper bots based on events on the platform that just charts, for example. So we cannot really quote you $100 for a chart, and we shouldn't be quoting $100 for a sniper bot that makes you earn millions on a trade. So we need to really think about what's the value of the functionality and how we can benefit from it. I already said that also a bunch of times, but our customers shouldn't be you. Our customers should be companies wanting data that is worth millions for them. And if we manage to get those millions from the company, we shouldn't be needing subscriptions from you. Like Google does not quote you for use to use their tools, and that's because they are selling data to customers wanting to sell you something else to you. We do not want to become obviously the business ads model, but it's a concept that it's interesting. Like if we first manage to get all the users into the platform, we'll obviously find a way to monetize the platform in a non-aggressive and in a competitive way, because not everyone has $100, or not everyone can afford going into DeFi. Like buying Eulers might not be that easy for everyone. So how do we make that easy, and how do we incorporate users that might not be able to pay for Eulers, for example? Is something that we need to explore. Like maybe we can accept credit card payments and go buy the Eulers ourselves, which is a concept that I thought about some time ago, having something like you pay with credit card, and or Oracle and our contracts go buy the Eulers from the pools. We'll research that, and I'll keep you posted. But let's see how market evolves, because obviously we are in this ranging area, and we don't know what's going on with the price. But let's see it. How much influence has the honorary advisor Leonard Hewler has on the project as of yet? Well, this is a very funny story. Our head designer needed placeholders to insert on the site, so he just grabbed the avatar and put it everywhere. And when we updated the site with the people's pictures, we decided to leave the Leonhard Euler image as an honorary contributor, also because he's the one that theorized and obviously demonstrated some of our strategies in terms of data aggregation. Like, for example, this graph theory is what fuels our event aggregation system, because we are able to extract the price in USD for a token, because we are able to navigate the graph on the swaps. So yeah, it's a lot of contribution, and it's going to stay there for a while, because I'm still reading about what he invented and getting ideas. Is 4,000 Eulers the most you can have to benefit from all the services? So if I stake 4,000 Eulers, I can always benefit from the platform. 4,000 Eulers is kind of early. Yeah, it's an early adopter pass. You will get the benefits from the platform. Not all of them. Like the rewards, for example, is aiming to people that is really vested into the platform. But 4,000 Eulers should allow you to use the platform fully for a long time. As I said, we need to evaluate the cost of the features. So sniper bots or trading interfaces for centralized exchanges might be expensive, or might need a specific subscription plans. But 4,000 Eulers should be your base quote for anyone. 4,000 Eulers, as I said, is pretty much 10,000 users. So if we manage to get 10,000 users with 4,000 Eulers, we do not have any more tokens to fulfill subscriptions. Everyone else coming later will have to pay to get access to the platform in Eulers. So it's even better, because this 4,000 Eulers is going to be even more valuable in the long term, and you will benefit both from the platform and from the Explorers program and from the incentivized program that will split money between the community. So yeah, 4,000 Eulers it's a good number. And right now it's, I think, $80. So why not? Will you consider raising funds and get backed by venture capitals to cover the cost of building the infrastructure? Yes, please. Yes, please. Not just because of the money and because it will reduce a lot the pressure on the token price, but also because their expertise, their mentoring, their guidance, and their networking is something that we definitely need. We are new into the blockchain, but we are also new into the enterprise world, and we do not know which companies can benefit from our product, or at least not all of them. So having access to venture capital funds that also provide mentoring and guidance and advisory on where to aim and what to look for, it's something that we will definitely be looking for in the short term. Like, we already started. Matt, please don't talk about machine learning until you can read Web3 documentation. Okay, I'll try to stay away from terms that I am not a specialist. Are we considering partnership with a non-crypto enterprises that want to use blockchain tech or data? Yes, we are investigating and we are researching which companies can benefit from that. I applied yesterday to the MasterCard startups program that is looking for companies wanting to create banking solutions for people that does not have access to, let's say, formal banking. Do you think that Euler will be able to benefit other ecosystems besides crypto, blockchain, info? Can Euler's infrastructure be implemented into a games economy, other financial systems? Yes, one of our advisors that's been with us since we started and is now taking some time to develop his career is an expert on gaming economics, Javier Barnes. He helped us deploy and develop some tokenomics ideas, and we can still count with him for advisor. So if we decide to build analytics on top of gaming and, for example, on top of crypto gaming, which is a trending topic right now with all these axis and stuff going on, we will definitely investigate that and implement it. Can we partner with ChainSwap, which can burn and convert our token on another chain, so that will help our interoperability? Our token has a burning mechanism that's pretty good to be deflationary, but it's also bad in terms of interoperability, because how do you burn tokens in other chains is something that I don't think is very well supported by bridges, because when do we burn the token? When it's sent to the bridge, or when it's recovered on the bridge on the other side? So yeah, it's something that is very complicated to articulate, but we are investigating that because one of the major or the biggest partners that show up and we're in conversation with them is from Heco Chain. So we have to figure out how we can benefit from Heco Chain and how we can, how we can reach Heco Chain with our token and if it's worth. Jorge, don't lie, you can do that through Euler and never will, because it requires non-shared nodes all around the world. So either doesn't know what he's talking about, or he's purposely not of the use AWS and overpromising again. Well, I missed the context on that commentary. I overpromise. Well, I actually failed my evaluations of efforts. Overpromising is never a failure from my perspective. Like I can promise you the world, and as long as I work toward getting it, I think we are in a good shape, because from my perspective, that's just viewing the big picture, right? So I'm sharing with you my vision of the project, and I am telling you what I expect from the platform. I might fail with my deadlines. Until I started this project, I never failed to a deadline, mostly because I was familiar with the area in which I was developing. This is the first time I in course into blockchain. So yeah, I failed to a lot of deadlines. I also delivered earlier a lot of stuff that wasn't planned. So yeah, but over-promising is not a concept in terms of technology. Like the only way in which I can over-promise is by dying tomorrow and stop working on this. But as long as I'm alive and working, what I'm failing on is into setting up the deadlines. I will try to be more humble on that, and I will try to set real expectations. But I will never stop over-promising. Over-promising is what fuels this project. Like we should be thinking big to get to where we want to be. Can we have a verified tick like Twitter for the people who want to share their wallet, like what coins they hold on Euler? Yes, we have that widget on our Euler page. We should have that same token or the same widget on all tokens that have been verified, either by us, by the community, or by the partners that we achieve to sign into the what was the name? It's auditing companies. So we have two auditing companies. One audited us, and another company that reached to us to see if we can display their badges into our site, so you know which projects has been audited and by who. Yeah, he's overpromising clearly, lol, but the time frames are long already. Perhaps they should start hearing and key with marketing first. That is the profit I made this day, months and months before with less data on where. If you are providing that to companies, how are you going to compete with BigQuery etc.? Who provide all data types across all chains? Could be possible. Okay, so BigQuery provides data, that's true. Somehow the data does not seem to match what I found out on the nodes. So if I search for specific time frames and specific swaps, I do not get all the data that seems to be on the blockchain. I don't know how they process the data on their side. They obviously process it because they use GraphQL, and GraphQL needs processing. So when you search, for example, for the charts prices does not reflect the current blockchain information. And it's happening on all pools. The charts I was able to build yesterday compared with what we have currently, that didn't match. Like prices jumps a lot in BigQuery data, and you get weird results that jumps the price like over $1, and they don't even clear up that data. So it's not really reviewing it, but they are pretty solid. They are mature, and we can't compete with their data right now, but we can compete with their user experience, I think, if we manage to build a better set of tools than the current one that they provide. But yeah, it's an obvious competitor. Like, can we compete with them? I don't know. We'll see. We will have to grow larger, and we will have to be more mature to be able to estimate how far are we from those guys, and then we will see. Could be possible for asset of volume, like when earlier someone buys 50K, for example, this will be the new well. Yes, we needed to have the trades in place to calculate the volumes. And I shared a screenshot yesterday in which we already have this ready. We can now calculate volumes for the last 24 hours for the tokens, and from there calculate the difference between the price and the percentage of volume that this trade waits for the pool. So it's something that is in place, yes. Therefore, already coming with V2, which will include burning tokens on the other chains to not do what WEX did. I was referring to 99% investors don't agree with your view about our promises. I'm not sure if font it means won't. Like, you mean that over-promising is bad, right? Like if I say I'm building this and it's going to take me 1 month, but instead takes me 2, you call that over-promising. We'll all call that very delayed. Yeah, this is a nice discussion to have with a product manager and a project manager, because that's how it works. Like either I can or I can't build it, and everything can be built right now. So I will keep trying, and I will keep explaining what I'm trying to build. So, but yeah, I can't really, as I said, I can't really stop over promising, because that will mean that we won't have any vision for the project. Like if I say, oh yeah, we're building charts, and we build charts, what's next? We need to have a vision, and we need to have a big picture and be ambitious. So as I said, I will try stay humble with the deadlines. I will be transparent with the development pace, so you know what's being developed and when it's going to be ready. But you should expect from me over-promising, if that's the name, in terms of functionality. I will promise you the world, and I will try to build it. That's my point of view. So yeah, Matt, there's two different types of data. One is analytics, which is real time. So you need it to be as fast as possible, not as accurate as possible, because analytics tends to review what happened in the past, more or less, and what's going on right now to do kind of the intersection and decide how to react to that. So it's pretty much detecting scams or fraud prevention, attacks, stuff like that. That's one of the vectors of development we will be building, which is based on events. And then the other is big data. I'm using machine learning, but machine learning, deep learning, etc., that does not rely on real-time information and instead relies on historic information to be able to scan it and process it over and over to find patterns. And those patterns are the ones that fuel the analytics tools. So we have these two opportunities in terms of data to know or to sell to companies looking for information. For example, for Pancake, it's good to have analytics, but historical information is not really something that they are looking forward. Analytics is good for them because it allows them to calculate real-time prices. It allows them to calculate automatic slippage. It allows them to calculate transaction fees or even rug pulls or flash loans or stuff like that. This is the kind of stuff that, for example, Pancake or an exchange will be looking for. And for traders, what you will be looking for is, for example, for performance of a specific asset. So, yeah, we have various opportunities in terms of data and how do we treat it and which data are we looking for. So yeah, again, interoperability between blockchains is not that easy. I mean, minting a new token into other blockchain and linking it to our current supply shouldn't be that hard. We just need to move $20 million, 20 million tokens to other blockchain, and it will be immediately available. But for a token to be interoperable, it needs liquidity on both sides of the blockchains. And as soon as somebody moves the tokens and swaps them, if no one buys those tokens into the other blockchain and brings them back to the bridge, interoperability disappears because you do not have any token to claim when you try to move to the other side. So it's very hard to figure out how to not end up in a situation in which we look like the Titanium Bank, like they minted more tokens than they were supposed to. So yeah, it's pretty challenging, and we'll have to figure out if it is worth. Because as I said, there's ways to buy EULers from the pools to pay for the subscriptions without existing in other blockchains. Just because the volume is on Polygon right now doesn't mean people is not going to go to the Binance Smart Chain to buy EULers. And as I said, we can always accept payments in Polygon in USD and bring those USDT into Binance Smart Chain to buy the EULers ourselves. Because end of the day, we just need to buy EULers to pay for the subscription that we got in USD. So it's kind of a buyback of the tokens to honor our agreement with you. So that's something that we will investigate. So yeah, 59 minutes, 11 seconds. So if no one has any other question, I have to leave because the guys attending here are looking to me like, you aren't consuming anything. So guys, let me know if you need anything else. I'm at Telegram as usual, and any other question or any other comment, just ping me privately. And Matt, thanks for the critical point of view on me over-promising, but as I said, if I deceived you, I'm sorry, but I cannot stop over-promising because, as I explained, that's for me it's cool because it provides me a clear perspective on what I want to build. Thanks, everyone. Bye.